Morning. Good morning. Welcome or welcome back to my channel. This is Bookeemonsters. My name is PK. It is Friday, January 12th, and we are here to take a look at some historical mysteries. Usually during the week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we look at the new releases that are being set into the wild genre by genre. And by Friday, we kind of see whatever's left over. But we're currently doing the Midwinter HistMyst Readathon that I'm sponsoring. And the last couple Fridays, we've been looking at some historical mysteries series out there. I need to make a list of some standalones. Ooh, there's a good one. I think I can do this one. Huzzah! Let me think about this. No, we're gonna do one. You guys are being safe and warm. It is freaking cold here. It's going to get colder. Officially, it is negative 13 today, this morning, and that's not wind chill. And the wind is blowing. So it is colder than that right now. But the mornings, both Saturday and Sunday, are going to be in the negative 24 range. So it is very, very cold. I'm just bringing up a couple standalone ones that I seem to recall. I have read them, but it's been a long time. All righty. Just quick announcements. There are no sprints tonight. There are sprints tomorrow afternoon at 1 p.m. Mountain Time, 3 p.m. Eastern, and we do that for 5 hours. Bring your own book, work on a project, be productive in the house, listening to some nice ambiance. Whatever it is you want to do, that is time carved out for you. All righty. I think this is so pretty. This is kind of the tones of pink that I like. I like the blushier, muted pinks. Sorry, coffee was required. Okay. So the first standalone we're going to take a look at for historical mystery options. Really loved this one. Is The Instance at the Finger Post by Ian Pears. Let's go to a different version though, so hopefully it'll give it a better description. There we go. All right. Not a great picture, but it gives us a better description here. Maybe we can go to Goodreads. Yeah. Oh, and instance. All right, well, we'll stay here then. All right, so a finger post, if you're wondering what the title is that sign in the middle of a crossroad that tells you this way to a certain town, that way to another town, this way to a different town. You're in one spot looking in 4 different directions. This is set in Oxford in the 1660s, a time and place of great intellectual, religious, scientific, and political ferment. This centers around a young woman, Sarah Blundy, who stands accused of the murder of Robert Grove, a fellow of New College. Four witnesses describe the events surrounding his death. Marco da Cola, a Venetian Catholic intent on claiming credit for the invention of blood transfusion; Jack Prescott, the son of supposed traitor to the royalist cause, determined to vindicate his father; John Wallis, chief cryptographer to both Cromwell and Charles II, a mathematician, theologian, and master spy; and Anthony Wood, the famous Oxford antiquary. Each one tells their version of what happened, but only one reveals the extraordinary truth. So you're getting four different witness statements, shall we say, four different points of view, section by section, relating what happened and how they're um, who they are colors what they saw, what they believe, and so forth. And you do get to a conclusion at the end. It is a really, really good one. I do enjoy it. Kim, you are loving historical mysteries. They're my absolute favorite. If I had one genre, one subgenre to choose, it would be historical mysteries, and I would be absolutely perfectly happy. So right now, looking at a couple of standalone options if you didn't want to get started on a series. This other one was a little bit more famous, shall we say. It got wider publication, wider publicity. This is The Pale Blue Eye by Louis Bayard, or Louis Bayard, if you want to be a little French there. This has a character of Edgar Allan Poe. At West Point Academy in 1830, the calm of an October evening is shattered by the discovery of a young cadet's body swinging from a rope. The next morning, an even greater horror comes to light. Someone has removed the dead body's heart. Augustus Landor, who acquired some renown in his years as a New York City police detective, is called in to discreetly investigate. It's a baffling case Landor must pursue in secret, for the scandal could do irreparable damage to the fledgling institution. But he finds help from an unexpected ally, a moody young cadet with a penchant for drink, 2 volumes of poetry to his name, and a murky past that changes from telling to telling. The strange and haunted Southern poet for whom Landor develops a fatherly affection is named Edgar Allan Poe. That is a good standalone as well. All right, let's get back to some of the ones I had bookmarked, so to speak. And jump into those. I think we were up in Instruments of Darkness. I don't think we got to Medicus yet. So again, historical mysteries cover all of humanity, from caveman to they're calling like the 1990s historical. And somebody did bring up a good point, was it last time, that to kind of define what historical mysteries are. This is my definition. I think it is a good definition. I guess others could have a different opinion about that, but to me, historical mysteries are somebody writing in their current time about a previous time, more than 20 or 30 years from your current time. Somebody who lived in the 1930s, writing about the 1930s, to me, that is not a historical mystery. That is a contemporary writing a contemporary in their time period. So hopefully there you can see there's a distinction there. This particular series is set during Roman times. Of course, the Roman Empire lasted for about, what was it, 1,000 years? So this is the first book in this series. There's 8 books in this series now. Good for her. First one is called Medicus. It's by Ruth Downey. And this is in Roman-occupied Britain. The gods are not smiling on Army Doctor Gaius Petrius Russo in his new posting in Britannia. He has vast debts, long shifts, and an overbearing hospital administrator to deal with, not to mention a serial killer stalking the local streets. Barmaids' bodies are being washed up with the tide, and no one else seems to care. It's up to Russo to summon all his skills to investigate, even though the breakthroughs in forensic science lie centuries in the future, and the murderer may be hunting him down too. If only the locals would just stop killing each other, and if only it were possible to find a decent glass of wine and someone who can cook, Russo's prospects would be a whole lot sunnier. Can't remember if this one was second century, maybe. It is not in the later empire. This is while Rome was still moving into Great Britain. A very respected name in historical mystery circles is Charles Todd. This was a writing team. I mainly like cozy historical. Almost finished with the Templar Knights series. Time to find a new one. Charles Todd it was actually a writing team of mother and son. The mother just passed away, I believe it was only last year. But this was their second series. Bess Crawford is the main amateur sleuth. First book is called A Duty to the Dead. There was 13 books in this series. And again, we're not getting a great description. What's up with this, peoples? Give us a description that lets us know what the book is about, not just all the glowing reviews. All right, we're going to go back to Goodreads. So this is set during World War I. And Bess Crawford is, there we go, where we got a good description. She is a nurse in World War I. England, 1916. Independent-minded, Bess Crawford's upbringing was far different from that of the usual upper-middle-class British gentlewoman. Growing up in India, she learned the importance of responsibility, honor, and duty from her officer father. At the outbreak of World War I, Bess volunteered for the nursing corps, serving from the battlefields of France to the doomed hospital ship Britannic. On one voyage, Bess grows fond of the young, bravely wounded Lieutenant Arthur Graham. Something rests heavily on his conscience, and to give him a bit of peace as he dies, she promises to deliver a message to his brother. It is some months before she can carry out this duty, and when she's next in England, she finds herself recovering from a wound. When Bess arrives at the Graham house in Kent, Jonathan Graham listens to his brother's last wishes with surprising indifference. Neither his mother nor his brother Timothy seems to think it has any significance either. Unsettled by this, Bess is about to take her leave when sudden tragedy envelops her. She quickly discovers that fulfilling this duty to the dead has thrust her into a maelstrom of intrigue and murder that will endanger her own life and test her courage as not even war has. So if you're looking for like a strong female protagonist and a puzzling out of mysteries, that is a good series. This next one is a shorter series. I think there was only 4 or 5 in this series. This is by Tessa Arlen. Death of a Dishonorable Gentleman is the first one. This is the Lady Montfort mysteries. Lady Montfort has been planning her annual summer costume ball for months with scrupulous care, pulling together the food, flowers, and 1,000 other details for one of the most significant social occasions of the year is her happily accepted responsibility. But when her husband's degenerate nephew is found murdered, it's more than the ball that is ruined. In fact, Lady Montfort fears that the official police inquiry, driven by petty snobbery and class prejudice, is pointing towards her son as a potential suspect. Taking matters into her own hands, the rather over-imaginative Countess enlists the help of her pragmatic housekeeper, Mrs. Jackson, to investigate the case. track down the woman that vanished the night of the murder and clear her son's name. As the two women search for a runaway housemaid and a headstrong young woman, they unearth the hidden lives of Lady Montfort's close friends, servants, and family, and discover the identity of a murderer hiding in plain sight. And as they say here, this is a series that would appeal. This is Edwardian England, so before World War One. If you like Downton Abbey, this is a series that would kind of scratch that itch. This one is an older series, but a very good one. This is by Darren Lake. There's 17 books in this series, but there will be no more. She has stopped writing this one. This is called Death in the Dark Walk. It is a John Rawlings series, and it is set at the beginning of it's in Georgian England, so 1700s. Having finished his indentures, Rawlings is celebrated in Vauxhall Pleasure Gardens when he trips over the body of a young girl. Summoned to the magistrate's office as prime suspect, Rawlings not only clears his own name, but impresses Fielding, that is the gentleman who founded the Bow Street, so much that with his power of recollection, that he is asked to investigate the crime. From gaming hell to fashionable house, Rawlings follows a trail of lustful liaisons and illicit intrigue, which prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that the girl has had quite a past with threatening secrets. That is a favorite series of mine. I think I have the last one still to read. I've been holding off. Do you do that? I don't want to read the last one, or else it'll be over. Also during the 1700s, the Georgian period in England is a sort of a romantic historical history, HistMyst, but more, there's a touch of romance, but that's not the focus. This is by Lucinda Brant. There's 4 books in this series. Again, if you don't want to commit to a big long series, this one is just 4. It's 1763. Career diplomat Alec Halsey returns to London, and the shocking news of his estranged elder brother, the Earl of Delvin, has not only killed his friend in a duel, but become engaged to the woman he had hoped to marry. The dead man's mother is convinced her son was murdered and wants Alec to prove it. Hoping to learn more about the suspect duel, Alec reluctantly attends a weekend house party to celebrate his brother's engagement. The house guests get more than they bargained for when a lady's maid is murdered, the bride-to-be is attacked, and a guest is found shot dead. Alec's investigations uncover a connection between these sinister acts. Copies required. His brother's duel and a recently raided male brothel and the wrongful hanging of a master apothecary. Alec is also forced to confront a cruel twist of fate that explains why his brother loathes him and will go to any lengths to discredit him in polite society. Sorry? Copy was required. This next one is by Ashley Gardner. There are 16 books in this series, and I believe it is still continuing. This is, again, set in the Regency era, if you're looking for more in the Regency. Yes. London, 1816. This first one is the Hanover Square Affair. Cavalry Captain Gabriel Lacey returns to Regency London from the Napoleonic Wars. Burnt out, fighting melancholia, his career ended. His interest is piqued when he learns of a missing girl, possibly kidnapped by a prominent member of Parliament. Lacey's search for the girl leads to the discovery of murder, corruption, and dealings with a leader of the underworld. At the same time, he struggles with his own disorientation, transitioning from a soldier's life to the civilian world, redefining his role with his former commanding officer and making new friends, from the top of society to the street girls of Covent Garden. I find this character a little abrasive, but it's a good series. Maybe you want a cranky character. Now this next one, I love this series. And no, I haven't finished. She has 2 series. I love this author. I'm spacing these out a little better. This is the author is Susanna Gregory. There's 25 books in this series. This is set in medieval times. Um, the first book is called A Plague on Both Your Houses. I love this series. Matthew Bartholomew, an orthodox but effective physician to Michael House College in medieval Cambridge, is as worried as anyone about the pestilence that is ravaging Europe and seems to be approaching England, but he is distracted by the sudden and inexplicable death of the master of Michael House, a death that university authorities do not want investigated. But Matt is determined to get to the truth, leading him into a tangle of lies and intrigue that cause him to question the innocence of his closest friends and even his family, just as the Black Death finally arrives. This is a good series because he is a doctor who is like in the fledgling of real doctoring, and he is in a college setting where there's very much a rivalry between the different colleges, between college and town. The other doctors are basically quacks, um, and he has some side characters, and there are side characters in this that are add to the story as well. It's a good series if you wanted to look for something set in medieval times. Adding lots to Goodreads. Oh, let me tell you, I can get you hooked up. Many, many, many. So oof, we only got a couple more minutes. Oh, I could do this for like a whole year. Um, if you're looking for something in, say, an Elizabethan time during the Queen era of Queen Elizabeth, this series, there's 23 so far. She's doing good. By Fiona Buckley. The first book is To Shield the Queen. Um, Rumor has linked Queen Elizabeth I to her master of horse, Robin Dudley. As gossip would have it, only his ailing wife Amy prevents marriage between Dudley and the Queen. To quell the idle tongues at court, the Queen dispatches Ursula Blanchard to tend to the sick woman's needs. But not even Ursula can prevent the accident that takes Amy's life. This really happened. This really happened. Did she fall or was she pushed? Was not the Ursula character, but this really did happen. Did she fall or was she pushed? Was Ursula a pawn of Dudley and the Queen? Suddenly, Ursula finds herself at the center of the scandal, trying to protect Elizabeth as she loses her heart to a Frenchman who may be flirting with sedition against her queen. She can trust no one, neither her lover nor her monarch, as she sets out to find the truth in a glittering court that conceals a wellspring of blood and lies. I have started this series. I'm probably going to have to start it again because I paused a few books in, but she has continued, obviously. So that is a good one if you're interested in Elizabethan. I have made my list here public on Amazon. Let me get this going. We are out of time. I have to go pick up my mom and take her to, oh, not a commercial. Okay. It is called, what is it called? Bookeemonsters HistMyst. I think you can look for it on Amazon. It is public. A lot of my lists here are private, but this one is public if you want to take a look at several of the ones that I have bookmarked. There are so many more out there. Again, another good resource is stopyourkillingme.com. And Kim, I don't know if oh, come on. It would help if I could spell things correctly. On the side here where they have the different tabs, if you go down to the historical index, it's about halfway down. it breaks these down into different historical periods. If you're looking for a particular era that you are interested in, this isn't comprehensive, but it's dang good. So, a couple ways to look for some new options if you're interested. Only 1,500 books in your to be read shelf? Me too. Okay, we'll check it out. I sent a request on Goodreads. All right. Love that website. Good, good, good. All right. Well, we have to call it a day. Again, no sprints tonight, but sprints tomorrow afternoon at 1 p.m. Mountain Time, 3 p.m. Eastern. That will go for 5 hours. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you, Kim, for playing with me. And anybody who watches later, thank you so much. Have a very good Friday. Have a very good weekend if I don't see you tomorrow. There is winter storms and other storms going on, so please stay safe, stay warm, read good books. If you're not reading a book you're enjoying, it's okay to set it aside for now. It's not a reflection on the author or the book. It's just not the right time, so it's okay. Read something you like. Thank you very much. And as the banner says here, don't be a bookworm, be a bookie monster. Nom nom nom. Have a good day. God bless.